Hey, what's up, everybody? Ballietbran here. We got the weekly Sunday stream. I hope everyone's doing well. We'll kind of just go over some of the stuff that I've seen over the week, whether it was Hex or Pulse, some of the information kind of going on with PulseChain. We'll just say what's up to the chat real quick, do the intro, and then get on with it, okay? So we got Tony. How's it going, Tony? Pulse Doge. That is also one thing I do want to talk about is PulseChain itself is a great network to build on, and there's already a couple of projects that I've seen that are being built on it that I think is pretty cool. So Pulse Doge is in the house, and then we got Ash. Okay, so let's see. I left plug walk to be here. Awesome, man. Cool. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll get started with it right now. We'll do the intro and then just get to what I have. Okay, so here we go.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. Ballietbran.
Cool. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. We got a couple more people that joined. So Erwin, nice to see you. Renchi T. And then MT Coiner says, tell me plug walk didn't go over everyone's head. It went over my head, I'll be honest. So I guess we'll have to get some explanation on that one. So let's kind of just get right into it. RG3 had a pretty good post today on Twitter that I want to cover. And it goes to show you all of the outbound messaging, all of the things that the community are doing that, doesn't have to involve Richard. It's people that have, had gains, seen success, and they want other people to experience that as well. Okay, so we'll get right into it. So here's RG3's Twitter. Okay, perfect. Everyone can see. Let me scroll in. So RG3 says, so our man in the Hex documentary Sizzle Reel, who put his family savings in, was at the Dallas Fair, and he and his wife see this. And so we'll take a look here and then kind of just zoom in. So there is a pretty big HEXDEK16 banner that they were able to see. So that's really cool. I think it's awesome what the community is doing as a whole. And yeah, once again, the more that you can kind of spread that technology and information to someone else, then they might actually have the chance to not only be a Hexican, but experience the gains and get out of the financial turmoil that they may or may not be in. So we got some other people in the chat. Casey, what's up, man? Good vibes. He's the one, for people that don't know, that supplied the Hex Vegas hats that say LV2021 in the back, and then has the Hex with the embroidery. So that's really cool. I wear that pretty much every single day, and I'm looking forward to the new Vegas trip. Right, that's going to be in March, the 6th through the 9th, I believe, and that's going to be a fun time. We were supposed to have HEXDEK on today, but he hasn't gotten back to me this morning. So we're going to be still doing that giveaway. There's a couple tickets that we'll be giving away. I just need some response on that before we can actually invite him into the stream and do that. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'll keep everyone updated as it kind of goes on. So the Hexican contractor, we got Stormy, and then MT Coiner says, the rapper Rich the Kid is a Hexican now. I had no idea. His most famous song is Plug Walk. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm kind of like Motley when it comes to that stuff. Goes right over my head. So that's awesome, right? We got the guy from Fred Durst. We got DJ Lethal. You mentioned Rich the Kid. So lots of people in the Hex community, and it's only getting bigger and bigger. So that's pretty cool. Actually, now that you mentioned that, I think that's the person that has like 2.8 million followers that I saw the other day. So that's really cool. Pabalaba, that banner is amazing. It really is. One thing Richard was talking about, and I don't know if it was in direct relation to that or just something else in general. And Northernmost, good to see you, man. But what he was talking about is, hey, if you are making an advertisement or stickers, things like that, the Hex.com, just the Hex.com, that's great. But if you want to add more to it, something that's kind of like a call to action or that's more compelling, then maybe put like the, average stakers earning 37% APY or something along those lines where it, might get their attention more than just the Hex.com advertisement itself. I know Crypto Coffee, he had made a whole bunch of stickers after, I think it was after Big Payday. We had gone like 166x, and his advertisements had that as well on it. So just something to think about if you're ever doing that, because I know there's a lot of Hexicans that did a billboard. Now we see the banner behind the plane, and it's just good to know. Tony, Vegas is going to be fun. It really is. I'm looking forward to it. The first Vegas trip was very fun as well, and that was about like 336 people, I think, a little bit over that actually joined, and this time it's going to be 1,369. So actually, one of the updates that I forgot to mention, and now that I'm reminded, is SkiCat is doing a giveaway. He initially said on RG3's stream with Discourse Syndicate for the Furu Eulogy premiere, he initially said that he was going to give $100,000 away. And then now, I guess that's changed a little bit. Something about the people that are there to qualify need to be at the Vegas trip itself, at the conference, and then need to be wearing some sort of Hex merch. So not only does that get people to get the tickets and kind of interact with the community, but it also gets people to, incentivizes them to get some merch if they haven't already. I know Motley's and some of his friends have a website, which is hexmerch.com. You can go to Etsy and type in Crypto Styles USA. You can go to CryptoWears, WEARZ.net, I believe. And that's where I got the hoodie with the Pulse and Hex logo. So Vegas is going to definitely be super fun. It's curious to see, what'll happen in 2022 with the actual conference, because it's not going to be just like the meetup like this year's was. It's going to be an actual conference and lots of different speakers and events and things like that. So that'll be cool to see and experience. So Rusty, he's in the house. Hey, Hexican family. Graphene says, thanks, Bran. Like how you're getting so much great content out. Yeah, thanks. I mean, now that there's more time in the schedule, right? It's easier for me to do that. Honestly, I'm missing a lot of clips that I would like to be doing, which are Richard's trips to Amsterdam, to Switzerland, and then he's got a Paris trip, I believe, too. So I'll be getting on that, getting some more clips going. And we actually do have in the agenda some clips that Rebu Sensei has done. So we're going to play a couple of his clips because they're relevant to what's going on with PulseChain. Richard kind of wants to get it launched and then get everything else developed on it as it kind of comes and goes. So Basat says, let's go. Kyler Kaufman, sup y'all. Hail Bran, okay. Let's see. Yup. Hello, Hexicans. Hey, Zeus. Nice to see you. SkiCat rules. Yeah, for those that don't know, SkiCat is a anonymous member in the Hexican community, and no one knows who they are except Hexologists. So good for him. But yeah, SkiCat initially, revealed themselves on, it was either like the D live streams or just how Hexologist, his streams in general, but they would start donating the largest amount, which was called like the Ninja Guinea at the time. And the long story short is they were a big, supporter in the community. And then they started doing like giveaways. Crypty Girl had received a large amount of Hex from SkiCat when she was on the Discourse Syndicate. who else? Joe Hexotic, when he first came into the scene with Matty Allen, and he was telling his story. Same thing. Ski Cat had kind of, just felt generous and gave him some, and then also David Feeder, right? For those that don't know, he's got the most cool hex tattoo in my opinion, and it's like the first one, but it's on his chest, and it's a big hex tattoo, and David Feeder definitely helped him out. Or sorry, Ski Cat helped David Feeder out with that, so that was pretty cool. And then David locked it up. It was like 1 million hex, and he locked it up for Cuatro Cinco. So good for David. It's already gaining a lot, which is really cool. Ski Cat is the man. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be cool to see everyone there, but also to be a part of the raffle and the event. Are there Richard Hart t-shirts? I'm sure there are. Not that I've ever seen. Not on the Crypto Styles or the Hex merch. I need to kind of go through that a little bit more, but I haven't seen any. It would be really cool to do. Bran, you have to go to Amsterdam one day. It's a fantastic place to visit. Yeah, no, seriously, that'd be really cool. Richard had kind of underestimated the community when I think it was the Amsterdam meetup, but there was like 150 people that had shown up. And that's definitely the most amount of people that have been at one of those little meetups. So that was really cool to see. Our favorite cat that skis. Yep, Hex Monkey. Yep, for sure. Andrew says, it's great to watch someone we can trust and has great content. Thanks, Bren. Hey, appreciate it. Just trying to do my best and help out, So Danny says, hello. Apex Crypto just staked 5,555 days. That's awesome. I mean, welcome to the club. What you did was you maximized the amount of shares that you'll be able to get. And throughout that whole stake, you're going to have all of those shares that whole time. So while other people are ending their stakes and expiring their stakes and burning their shares, you'll be able to keep your shares that whole time. So congrats to you. That's really awesome. It really doesn't take much money, much principal for those 15-year stakes, those longer stakes to become a lot. We saw that in under 2 years, Hex if you had a principal of $100, and this is not staked, but if you had a principal of $100 and you held it for under 2 years, it would be $1 million from the low to the high. So when you think that, hey, you're staking for 5,555 days, that's a lot more than the 10,000x we saw in 2 years. So once again, those longer stakes, they really, they add up. They're earning interest every single day, and doesn't take much for that to turn into a huge amount of money. So that's just something to consider for people that, you might be scared to do a longer stake and things like that. I mean, do a small one just to kind of hedge your bet. It doesn't take much principal. Even like a $20 or $30 stake out that long, you don't even know how valuable that's going to be. Pulse Doge. Okay. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. I do have like a Word file of some things that we'll be going over today. So love that, Crypto Girl. Yeah, Crypto Girl is amazing. And it's cool to see her involved in the Hex community and the documentary itself. She was saying that she was making like enough daily interest to buy a house, which is absolutely ridiculous. So it's cool to see that these numbers are real and that we've got amazing testimonials. I would love 1 million locked at 5,555 days. I still only have enough money to get Hex, but really want some merch in the near future. Hey, I totally understand, man. And Danny, I'd love to do a stream sometime with you, man. That'd be really cool to see. Human Healer says, where did you get your necklace? So it's on shapeways.com. You can go to Google and type in like Shapeways and then Hex. You can say like Hex Crypto and then embossed, and that'll pull you up to the link. And then you just pick whatever subcategory of metal. Richard has the silver one. There's a gold one, platinum, etc. So you can just pick it from there. But I will start linking that in the description because I guess a lot of people have asked me that, similar to the Joe Hexotic Ching Ching. So I don't have to keep answering it. It'll just be in the description. So Alan, I'll answer this, Randy, because it's a very good question. So for people that don't know, Richard's last name is not Hart, it's Schuler. And he chose Richard Hart because it's kind of like he says why he's in this in the first place. He's a billionaire, retired all of these things, got into crypto early. He didn't have to make Hex, didn't have to do Pulse. But why he's doing it is to leave a legacy, to build a legacy. Once you have all the money in the world, you don't have those problems that most people do. But he wants to, he's significance driven, right? It's the same reason why he wears, as he mentions, quote unquote, like why he dresses like a clown is because maybe it's not, his preference that he likes all this fashion, but he understands that it's marketing to a different audience, and it's catching people that are already used to that high fashion, that designer clothes. And then maybe, they'll see that commonality, and then maybe they'll hear about Hex and be more susceptible to learning about it because he's already appealing to something that they like in the first place. So that's why he goes by Hart. I mean, Richard had written Sci-Vive before creating Hex. He had, he's just always giving back and giving away. And especially on the live streams right now, we see him doing a tour across Europe. That's why he goes by the last name Hart, because he wants people to know that, hey, he's got a good heart, he's got good intentions, and he's just here to help. Hey, Bran, how's it going, Archie? Okay, cool. We got some more peeps in the chat here. Oh, okay. Okay, HEXDEK. Yeah, I texted you. I didn't know if we were going to. There's a couple different ways that we could have done this, right? So I'll send it to you right now, actually. Yeah, my bad. I didn't know if we were still on a go for that. So let me do that in the Twitter right now. So yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, there's a couple ways of doing it, right? And there's really no ideal way of doing this giveaway when it's on a stream. I know that they've got. Okay, cool. I see your comments there. So yeah, I know that they've got like random, comment generators for videos that have already been made. But for a live stream, you're really kind of SOL. So I was just thinking maybe we could do like 1 in 100, something like that. Like he's got 2 tickets to give away. Maybe we can like do guess a random number type deal between 1 and 100, unless people have a better recommendation. And then we'll kind of just have a number. Whoever gets closest to it first would get the ticket. But the thing that I want to encourage is, even with this giveaway, it's something that HEXDEK obviously had bought in those tickets. We're just giving it back to the community. But if you already have a ticket, please don't participate. This is just for people that wanted to go to Vegas, but maybe didn't have that extra incentivization to actually do it. So this would give them an opportunity. They would still need to pay for obviously the hotel separately and everything else separately. It's just the ticket that he was willing to give away. So that's kind of what's going on there. Thank you, HEXDEK, for reaching out. Glad that we can do this. So Sig Hex 148, good to see you, Ballietbran. Hope you are well. Totally, man. Definitely doing great. It's a beautiful day. It's not raining here in Seattle, which is a surprise. Yes, do it. Yeah, we'll definitely do it. He's got the link. So Ryan says, it feels amazing to get friends and loved ones involved before the snapshot. Even cooler when they make a Quattro Cinco stake too. Yeah, it totally is. And some people, you can tell them and you can give them all the information in the world, but they still might not act, and they still might not make that decision because most people are just not really focused on investing, and they don't realize how important that is for their future. But that's why when I had some extra during the Uniswap airdrop, I had just given the Hex and the stakes away to the family members. And now that they had a $100 principal that turned into a lot more, like $20,000, $18,000. Now they're like, okay, what is this Hex thing? I'm interested in it now. And now they're telling all their friends, which is cool because they wouldn't have been like that before, but now they understand after some time what's going on. So Empty Coiner says, HEXDEK16 rules, a truly kind-hearted Hexkin. Totally. Yeah, a lot of people had said that the most recent stream that I had done with him was the best one that I've ever done. So it's really cool to hear the feedback. It's good to know that as far as the live streams, people don't want the super long live streams, which I totally understand. And I'm trying to kind of cater some of the content and do that for the people that are watching and listen to the feedback. So Omar says, looking good, Balliet. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you. Wow, that's amazing of you, Bran. You set them up. Yeah, totally. I mean, here's the thing. So it's kind of like that story that you've heard where it's like, no one wants to get rich alone and be the only rich person, while the friend group and the circle around them are not doing well and not prospering. A camera malfunction, going to shut down and restart. Yeah, totally. Yeah, my bad. I had sent you a text message, but I guess that I should have just sent the actual StreamYard link itself. So appreciate you reaching back out, and I'm happy that we'll actually be able to do the giveaway. So that's really cool. And once again, it's nice if you have overabundance, if that cup does overflow, to maybe do it within your circle first, and then you can kind of branch out. All your streams are good, bro. Appreciate you, man. Good to know. Hit the like button. What an amazing community. Hex Live. Hey, how's it going, man? Hope you're doing well, too. That's one of Joe Hexotic's really good friends. So who else do we got here? Let's see. So did you see CoinMarketCap mending and making fun of Richard Hart today? I did not. That's actually news to me. I know that they've got big mouths, right? They've spoken a lot about Hex lately and deleted some of the posts and had this weird cryptic hexadecimal code type deal. Let me take a look and see if I can't take a look. The thing that's really dumb about them is they're literally being sued for manipulating data and pretending to be honest when they're not. Maybe you can post the actual link because I'm not seeing it right off bat. But so they're being sued, and now they're almost like doubling down on not taking it very seriously and kind of making fun of Hex, and as you mentioned, making fun of Richard. I don't see that, so maybe you can link that because I don't see it when I go over to the tab. Aussie antennas. Is sacrificing now for Pulse with Ethereum a bad idea? That's really up to everyone, right? What I can say is the actual rate that you're getting, it used to be like 10,000. It used to be 10,000 Pulse points, which will be converted to Pulse, but 10,000 points for $1 was like the beginning of sacrifice phase, and now it was like, I think it's like 250, something like that. Like, it's significantly less, and each day that goes on, it gets less because there's a 1.05% bonding curve that keeps making the actual rate that you're getting more expensive. If I was in that situation, I personally wouldn't. I know that there's going to be people that want to sell their Pulse, right? And that's obviously going to have some sort of downward market pressure, things like this. But if I was in, if I hadn't sacrificed, I personally wouldn't be doing it right now, unless it was, $20, $30, a very small amount, just to like possibly get any future airdrops. But once again, that's all speculation, and there really is no, absolute way of doing this. But all I can say is, yeah, the odds are really stacked against you with that bonding curve. Kyler says, here's game theory I dig if you're priced out of a T-share. About 0.175 to 0.2 billion shares should print you off about one full hex a day. That for 5,555 days, when Hex hits at least $100, God forbid, 1,000, you're set. Yeah, it's totally true. It doesn't take much, and a lot of people, they're kind of getting out of that T-share paradigm, which is good because it really is just the shares that are the most important. Cool, HEXDEK. I guess he's in the green room. Just go in the private chat and just let me know. Camera is working. Okay, cool. Well, just let me know when you want me to bring you on. Okay, cool. Just give me like a thumbs up in the background. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So yeah, everyone, HEXDEK is going to be joining us, and I'm excited because we're going to be able to do that giveaway. So that's actually really cool, really exciting. And once again, we'll kind of get into some of the details right now.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh, no worries at all, man. You might have to mute me on your speaker.
Do I have you on the speaker?
There's a little bit of an echo.
Weird, because I don't even have an instance of, here, let me just close down Twitter too. I don't have any instance loaded up of YouTube. You're the only.
Or maybe like the actual speaker itself.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, let me just drop it down here. Is that better?
Testing. Okay, yeah, I think that's definitely better. Yeah, that's definitely better on my end.
Okay, yeah, maybe it was just too high end on my side.
Okay, yeah, maybe the chat can confirm too. But yeah, man. So I know you said that maybe you wanted to give away a couple of tickets for Vegas.
Yeah. Let's do one. Let's do two.
Okay, yeah, whatever you wanted. Obviously, this is still reverb.
Is it still reverb?
We can do it just a little bit down. Yeah. Ideally, it's the headphones that
okay.
kind of.
Yeah, I didn't have headphones the last time. Let me see. Trying to think. I don't have headphones.
Maybe just down a little bit more. Because MT Coiner is saying, but still a little bit of an echo.
Okay.
Same thing happened when I was.
Let me do this. Let me disappear, exit out, because
Okay.
computer kind of acted a little funky today.
Okay.
And I will be right back, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you have any headphones, that usually works. Let me just remove him from the screen for just a second. And yeah, streaming is definitely one of those things that there's always something going on. So we'll get into it in just a minute. But yeah, definitely headphones are a recommendation. So no worries. Like I said, we'll get into it once it's all settled on your guys' side. We want to make sure that you guys have a good experience as well. And Crypto Panda, he's in the house, says, "Hey, Danny boy, go check out his channel. He's got some really good work as well, and make some really succinct videos. And I like all of the content that I'm seeing lately. There's a handful of channels that have just popped up on my radar that are really, really good. I still haven't learned to stack up on dry powder. All about me, Hex. Totally understand. Yeah. So yeah, Red Squirrel. This is actually kind of something that I was alluding to earlier. So haven't really looked into much of Pulse Doge or anything. That's kind of the first thing that I've seen initially when it came to Pulse. But this is something that's being done by Jesse Pit B, Toshi Flow, and I think a handful of other people. But they're hexagons that have been around for a while. When Pulse first came out, they wanted to see if there was anything that they could build that would be value and used by the actual hexagons and pulsicons that would actually once again gain adoption. So yeah, the liquid loans thing is something that they've created. It's pretty interesting that there's no admin keys. It really is similar to Hex, where it's a smart contract, and I'd want to kind of dive into it a little bit more in the future, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that does get built on Pulse that will have use case, and they'd actually just copied the code of something on either Ethereum or Aave. But once again, a successful kind of lending program type of deal where similar to like Celsius type of deal, you might not have to actually sell your crypto, but you could kind of collateralize it and get the fiat in that regard. So that's something to kind of look at. There's going to be a whole bunch of projects that are built on Pulse, and at the end of the day, for the most part, I kind of just sit back and just watch all of the mayhem occur. But there's going to be a few gems that definitely do pop up that'll be worth possibly investing in. So let's bring HEXDEK back up here. Let's take a look here. I guess just give me another thumbs up, and we'll hopefully the volume's good on this end. So
how's the echo
testing.
cancellation? Better?
Okay. Can everyone confirm? It sounds good on my end. Yeah, it totally sounds perfect on mine.
There's a default setting in there for echo cancellation. Apparently, it didn't switch on. It kind of goofed up on me when I launched it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that happens to me sometimes too, because when I reset the cookies and clear all the cache and stuff like that, sometimes it removes the preferences. So, okay, cool. Yeah, everyone's saying no echo.
The camera wasn't working. I mean, just, hey. What you deal with live video, right?
Exactly. That's what I was telling people is, just the other, maybe like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I started having like some internet latency issues at my house when they were streaming the Seahawks game. And now we upgraded the router and the Cat 8 Ethernet cable, the hardwire, and all of it's kind of working better now. But yeah, you never know what's going to go on. So, but how have you been, man?
Hey, pretty good. Been kind of busy.
Yeah.
And it's been a fun time. Got a chance to go back to the East Coast for a while and visit some family and stuff like that. And then pretty much it seems like things are just speeding ahead towards Vegas. I was talking to another gentleman from Vegas that we met up with, Mike, and G, little G. But talking about meeting up at the Florida group here end of December. So, yeah, it's just a busy time and just enjoying crypto. Waiting for the launch of the mainnet.
Oh man, it's exciting. It really is exciting. I mean, PulseChain is kind of like, in my opinion, like and Gary, good to see you funding Jim and Sensei Doze as well. But PulseChain really does seem like a catalyst for getting Hex into virality and kind of like mainstream adoption type deal. Because even today, I looked at the Telegram, and you look at the PulseChain.com Telegram, they've got like 44,000, and then the Hex one has like 30-something thousand. And it's just cool to see that it just seems to be an easier subject and easier concept for people to understand than say Hex.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Obviously, kind of what we talked about in the background. I mean, probably PulseChain is the heaviest I've gone into any crypto to date. So within the sacrifice phase. So, I mean, that's exciting in itself. And then learning about some like new project starts that are going to be happening on PulseChain, pretty exciting as well. I mean, I won't bring those out there in the stream until they actually launch and stuff like that. But
Totally.
yeah, I'm pretty excited and learning more about some of these things because it really involves the DeFi loaning projects and stuff like that. And I'm like,
yep.
I honestly have to lean on my more technical friends. Shout out to a guy, Peanut Butter Hex. He's been trying to explain it to me a little bit better.
No, that's exactly right. I was saying that earlier too, that now that you've got the cheaper fees, the faster network, the proof of stake, things like this, there's a huge market demand that wanted to build on ETH 2.0, but obviously we haven't seen that was enabled yet. So you're right. There's a lot of projects and people that are already working on Pulse that are really exciting. I think it's going to be like one of them that I was talking about earlier is exclusive to Pulse. And once again, it's just pretty cool to see the cheaper fees and the largest airdrop that the history has ever seen in crypto. So that alone is going to be quite the catalyst once they realize that, oh my gosh, I have the exact same copy of either NFT or ERC20 on this other blockchain. Now they're going to need to buy Pulse to actually be able to interact with that. So it's going to gain mass adoption, I think, rather quickly.
Yeah. And also, excited about the news to hear, like, which if you're following, which pretty much everybody who's watching the stream probably has been, Richard talking about, listen, I want to launch sooner rather than later. And we can figure all these other things out, but, let's get it up and running. And excited for that because, I mean, everything didn't develop on the Ethereum network in a day. I still go back to the time when Ethereum first launched before the whole ICO craze, before all these projects started being developed on the Ethereum network when it was very young. And I think we're going to see a repeat in a sense, or, a play on that happen with the PulseChain network, especially with the lower fees where these projects can interact and develop without the cost basis of, the expense of gas, as well as the arbitrage that's going to happen, where you start to see, and we'll see it, where projects start to move from Ethereum to the PulseChain network because of the environment, lower gas fee environment, easy transactions, quicker, faster. I've talked to some people that do, it's called Decentraland and Mana, VR space, stuff like that. And I know that was a feature that, in speaking with them, was important to them because your hands are kind of tied when, it costs so much to do what you need to do in that type of operation.
Totally. Yeah, no, that's how that's how Wave 3 TV and dollar cost crypto actually met was through Decentraland. They're kind of just, playing those different games. And from what I hear now, it's extremely expensive to be able to interact with the game at all, because it's just so gas prohibitive. So same thing with even like the NFTs, right? The non-fungible tokens, whether people like them or not, it's that's not important. The thing that is important is that the network itself actually gets usage, because for everything that they're doing, it's going to have that, it's not only deflationary, but it's going to be burning those fees and transactions. So that's going to make the price itself appreciate rather quickly, I would think.
Yeah, and I really want to see how that game theory plays out. I mean, because of the fact that it, like you said, it is deflationary. There's going to be the coin burn aspects. There's going to be the aspect of people being able to take their PLS and delegate their voting rights and stuff, where they're actually and even people that have used Ethereum and maybe have experienced that thing where when they delegate their tokens, or try to, you're giving up your coins, where in PLS and PulseChain, you're delegating your vote, but the coins never leave the wallet. So that's huge importance.
No, it's amazing. Richard had actually posted he had retweeted a video today of, let's see, I forget where actually in the world it was, but it was somewhere around the world where their like savings account and the actual bank itself had kind of like, it was Lebanon. So Lebanon people were trying to break into a bank that had locked down and said that they weren't going to be able to get their money. And they're trying to break in. And Richard's kind of saying like similar thing, not your keys, not your crypto. You see a lot of people that are doing these, yield farming and different programs themselves that are, they're earning a very small yield and they're risking their private keys, their actual seed, not their seed phrase, but the coins themselves. And you're winning a couple % to possibly risk the whole bag. Like, don't pick up pennies in front of freight trains, like Richard
pennies
says.
In front of freight trains, yeah. And that's exactly it. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Heck yeah. So cool. Yeah. That's awesome that you had some pretty good time in the East Coast. And then, like you said, pretty much busy up until the Vegas meetup. Did the Crypto Spar Booth people ever meet up kind of in your area, in the Montana area?
No, they didn't come through Montana, though I did tell them, I said, hey, I'm willing to get the hosting site and do whatever, but I understand, they had their schedule planned out in advance and made their changes along the way type thing. So hopefully maybe I'll get it, like I said, get a chance to catch up with them in Florida towards the end of the year after Christmas. Otherwise, I'll just see them out in Vegas. I've been following their journey and their different meetups and stuff, which is totally awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I know they're actually in Boise the other day, and you saw the photos with HEXDEK16 and his wife and their kids. So it's pretty cool to see that, like you mentioned, they weren't able to make all of the states and all of the meetups that they had initially planned, but the amount of people that they're onboarding, what they're doing in general is quite a toll. I mean, that's literally a full-time job within itself, and they're spending like 2 or 3 days at each city and then going to the next. So that's really commendable.
Fun job. Probably doesn't suck, driving in the Audi 8, so.
Yeah, no, I got to ride in that with Alan. We were going from the Marriott to one of the Seattle parking garages to take some photos and videos, and yeah, that thing is it's crazy that it's like the lower package too. There was like a V8, which is what they have, and then there's a V10, which is obviously a bigger engine. And even with what they had at the V8, like that thing is, no wonder he got a speeding ticket, So.
And I'm trying to think of it. Who was it? He was on last night. I'm just his name just went out of my head. God, don't get old. Tim. That I met up in Vegas. He was on with RG3 last night, and he was talking about he's getting a Tesla Model Y, and he's getting it kind of wrapped, in the Pulse. And
oh man, that's exciting. So. No, that's really cool. I know. I think actually Crypto Coffee, because he had mentioned it on one of the streams recently, but yeah, he had gotten like a Tesla as well. So it's cool to see some of the people that Hex has been so abundant in all of these gains, and a lot of us have held through them, that these minor hex flexes here and there, they're, a fraction of a percent of what the actual, bag in hex is doing and kind of working for you. So as Richard kind of mentioned, I think in the Switzerland meetup with Gary, with Funding Gym, that, you see people peeling off a little bit of interest here and realizing a little bit of interest, but the rest of their bag is kind of working for them. So it's leaving a lot of that energy in the system.
Yeah. As I've said to a couple people, is, hey, take what you need, restake the rest. I mean, and that's been kind of true for me is, one of the things I've never honestly anticipated from the initial get-go was how quick and how fast that this would transpire, which is a good bad problem to have, in a sense, is the fact that, things have accelerated at a pace that honestly I wouldn't have predicted or anticipated. And I think we're not going to be disappointed here in the next 6 to 8 months either, as far as it goes. But, there comes a point, and, I've taken I've mentioned this on stream before. I've only ever taken out one stake. A lot of that stake, I actually have subsequently gone back and reinvested, because in my head, my logic, brain tells me it's like the money's just sitting there. I'm like, undeployed capital is, wasted. There's nothing I want to spend it on at this point right now. So why not take advantage of what I call the double, of investing into Hex now, and seeing that duplicated on the PulseChain network before the snapshot, which I think is going to be imminent, and it's going to be a surprise. I don't think Richard's given a heads up on this one. I think he's just going to, flip the switch and raising
it's interesting because I hear a lot of that speculation as well, and then I think back to what Richard said. I mean, at least multiple times, that he would never give a specific maybe block height or day or time, because obviously that could be very gamed. But I know he had mentioned it, many times in the past, that he would give some sort of heads up, things like that. So we don't know. But I made a video last night kind of talking about this. Profex had answered a question that someone had about the GitLab code recently being updated, which was just a change in the code. And the point is that kind of like you mentioned, that just like that picking up pennies in front of freight trains, like if you're not kind of preparing for it now, and you don't have your keys in your possession, your coins in your actual possession, then you probably should be, because not only is that a good thing to be doing in general, but as you mentioned, if that does happen where he does what he said he wasn't going to do and just do the snapshot, then a lot of those people would have missed out that didn't have their bags ready. So
and I think that there was some of that craziness when they did post the GitHub message there, because of the fact that people are like, it's live, the snapshot happened. And I think we saw a little dump in Hex that day. People trying to gamify.
Yeah, that's one thing I said in my video, and we can get to the rest of it in just a second. But one thing I said in the video was that, it's almost like a game of telephone where one person says one thing, and now you got this chain reaction of people that are frantic and that are panicking. And the thing that I know when it comes to investing, it's just like why they call it panic selling. But you should never be making those big decisions when you're kind of in that stress position and panicking. And so, like you mentioned, there could definitely be a lot of decisions made right now that maybe they regret later on. So cool, man.
And it's if you're playing the long game, and you're not trying to get those quote short-term profits. I have a friend of mine that was so excited because I think over the past 7 to 10 days, he called me up and he's like, I invested in Shibu Uno or whatever. He's like, I made $5,000. I'm like, good for you, man. I'm like, that's exciting. I'm like, did you sell? Like, did you buy any of the hex I told you about? Because at least you get a duplicate copy. I mean, and I try to tell them, I'm like, well, if you do decide to hold on to that, dog coin, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you'll get a duplicate copy on the PulseChain network. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what you mentioned, and we can get to the giveaway, I guess, in a minute here. But one thing that you mentioned is kind of like that fallacy that people have, because I did in 2017 too, right? But never actually sold, where the gains are all on paper, and you're thinking, as you mentioned, your friend mentions that, hey, I'm up $5,000, et cetera. But if you don't realize that, and if you don't sell, then technically you're not, because you're up on that in paper. But if that is the tip of the market, as you mentioned, then a lot of times those people kind of hold to the bottom, or they don't think it's going to go that low, and then they do sell the bottom. So definitely lock in those gains when you can, because it's a lot different than, say, something like Hex that has use case, utility. Those things are just like hype, or someone like Elon Musk had kind of memed it into existence, where they really are just very short term, similar to Doge.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. One of the guys I onboarded a couple Saturdays ago, but at the point we had just crossed the 50-cent barrier. So I had seen, and actually I wasn't even paying attention to the little fake poker game we were having, just playing for fun. But it hit a demonstrable mark, and I was like, yes, and then I watched it, retrace almost $1 million, and then, now go back up again. And he called me. He was just curious. He's like, did you sell, that night? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm invested for the long haul. I'm like, he's like, how can you even possibly think about taking those swings? And I'm like, honestly, if I was invested in something like you were just talking about, in something that's, based on either market hype or, fluctuation swings in the market, I think back then, I would have been up at night, looking at my screen or my phone and just, wondering. But I mean, the confidence that you can have in a completed product like Hex is, as the market does what the market does, there's that steady interest rate, that keeps generating throughout the contract, that gives you the confidence to hold. And, what we've seen, and I think we'll kind of repeat it here between now and November 6th or 8th, is that up and to the right type thing.
Totally. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So I did want to get to David Ann's question. He says, giveaway. Okay. Yes, I think we're giving away 2 tickets that you mentioned. Yes. Maybe.
Yeah, 2 tickets, okay. Definitely.
Okay, so for people that don't know, we'll kind of just get into it right here. So this is a HEXDEK16. It's the second ever Hex conference and expo type of deal. It's going to be in Las Vegas. It's going to be January 6th through the 9th, 2022, as you can see here. You can go to the website once again, HEXconference.com for the more information. But what HEXDEK is going to do is give away 2 tickets. And since it's a live stream, there's no like random name generator that we can really do. So I was thinking maybe like if each of us can kind of do maybe just a random number type, I guess, like a 1 through 100 or something like that, where whoever kind of guesses it first maybe gets 1 ticket, and then the other person can pick the other number. I mean, that's the only thing that I could really think of when I was actually Googling and researching how to properly do a giveaway on a live stream. So okay. That's all I can really think of.
And just to give everybody the background, I went on, I bought a block of tickets from when Matty had, because he's doing weekly launches for these tickets. So there's only so many available per week. And I talked to him in the past about just buying up, a block of tickets, 10 tickets, and just giving them away to the Hex community for people who are attending. the agreement that I have with Maddie is, number one, obviously, I'm not selling you these tickets. You can't buy them from me. They're given away for free. But we do want to give them away to people that are going to be attending, because Maddie has to account for that. And I have to give them your information, kind of swap it out for my information on the ticket block. But there's, it's $369 per ticket, $369, going with the whole theme. And I just thought, if it's an incentive for people who are either going, or people who are kind of on the fence about whether I'm going to go, if your ticket's paid for, I mean, basically, like I think Ballietbran alluded to earlier in the stream, was, you're responsible for your own transportation back and forth and accommodation, lodgings, that type of thing. But I thought it was a nice incentive just to give back to the HEXDEK community. And that's what the HEXDEK community has always been about. So I just wanted to kind of have fun with it and do that as well.
Totally. Yeah, no, that's really awesome. That's super kind and generous of you, not only to do that, but then to be willing to give some away. So I think it's a great opportunity. Once again, I think you're the one that kind of mentioned it, where if someone wanted to go to the conference and maybe they didn't have the complete incentive to kind of go, at least now after this stream, we'll have 2 people that will be able to have some tickets and then be able to go to the conference. So that's really exciting. That's really cool to see someone like yourself, do that and be generous. It's super cool to see how much, prosperity and giving away that there is in the Hex community. It goes to show that, we're trying to give back and help others too.
Yeah. And quick shout out to MT Coiner. Just him and his wife just recently had a baby, but I still have those 2 tickets set aside for you and your wife. So don't worry, we're not giving away your tickets.
No,
I got a few of my Montana Hexicans that I've reached out to here that I said, hey, listen, if you want to go and, you want to make it the event, I'll take care of the tickets, that type of thing. So
totally.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we do it? I mean, I didn't do a lot of research.
Yeah.
I'm not the dedicated YouTube streamer that you are. So, as far as the giveaways, let's just do it. I mean, are there people looking?
Right. Yeah. There's definitely people in the chat. So kind of like I was saying earlier, I mean, didn't find any random comment generators that we can just pick from where it does that. I was thinking that either one of us can kind of, go at a time and maybe just pick a number between like 1 and 100 type of deal. And then whoever guesses that first maybe gets the ticket. And then the other person can kind of do the same thing, if that works for you.
Okay. Works for me.
Okay. Yeah. Hexander, he says, RT3's rigged wheel not available. See, the thing about that is once again, you need to have a preset of all the names, and then you put it in that generator. And with all the people that are here on the stream now, I wouldn't be able to manually type in those names as quick as the people were arriving. So I guess this is just the way it is. HEXDEK, I guess, do you want to start it off and maybe just pick whatever number between 1 and 100, and then whoever I guess guesses it first can get it.
Okay. You ready to go?
Tell them when you're ready, and then we'll have everyone start guessing.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go. The number is 99. Am I supposed to say that?
Yeah, total. Actually, okay. I guess we'll see who. I guess.
Sensi Dozy. Sensi Dozy. I
Sensi
said the number.
Okay.
I said I'm thinking of a number, but Sensi Dozy was the first guy to type in. So.
Perfect. So yeah, he'll get one. I'll let everyone know when I'm thinking of the number, and then I'll let everyone kind of guess it, and we'll see who gets it first. So let me think of. Yeah, so Sensei, you'll get it. Yeah, Ryan, you can't please everyone, man. It's a giveaway. Just chill. So I'll think of the number in just a second. I'll give everyone a 3-second countdown, and we'll let everyone guess, and then whoever gets it first will I'll announce that number then. So I guess we'll do it in about 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. So I've got the number in my head, but now's the time for people to guess. And
kept it in my head.
Hey, I've never done this before. I don't think any of us have. It's
no.
It's all a work and play. But that's not even the point. I mean, like I said, the point is it's so cool that someone like yourself is, you'd bought in some extra tickets for, as you mentioned, MT Coiner, and he had just had a kid, and so yeah, that's really cool. He was actually watching one of the HEXDEK16 stream that I was in the comment section on before he had that kid. So had another HEXDEK16 join the community.
Yeah, he's only like an hour away. We haven't met up yet. We did talk on live stream with him and Pina Colada, Chloe, Pina Colada Crypto, I think it is. But
let me just scroll back up. The number was 67. Let me just make sure no one else guessed it, because I see this person did, but let me just make sure no one else guessed that before, because I'm pretty sure Jonathan Lacey is. The number was 67. But let me just make sure that he was the only one. So, I mean, yeah, the chat can definitely verify, but he's the first person that I see that put 67 in, and that definitely was the number that I had in my head. So wait, Juice Man says I was first. 1 second, let's verify this. Once again, giveaways are never easy, man. That's why we have that bunga meme where let me remove that comment. Let me keep looking here, But yeah, anytime you're doing a giveaway, there's always people that are still going to have complaints. So I guess this Juice guy, we'll see if he does have it, but I don't see it. I don't see it in the chat here. No, yeah, I was definitely thinking of 67. Unless someone else can kind of prove that the Juice guy that was the first number, then we'll. So yeah, the number was 67. We'll give it to whoever had guessed it first. Someone saying Bistanio had guessed it first. It's really tough because there's so many numbers at once. But we'll scroll up here in just a second and see. But yeah, man, the Vegas conference is going to be fun. It's going to be, as you were there for the first one, it's going to be different than how we had at first, where it was more casual. This is going to be more structured and kind of like a legitimate conference. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, totally, definitely. And just for the two winners, either contact Ballietbran and he can forward the information to me, or you can contact me on Twitter, Sensi Dozy, and the other gentleman I will get the arrangements on the back end to get you. We need your name and email address, so that I can have the tickets switched over to you, so they're there waiting for you when you get to Vegas and register with Maddie and stuff like that. But I'll get all that stuff handled on the back end. Yeah,
me too, actually, because I know we knew Sensei Dozy was one of them. I actually do think it might be this Bistonio guy. I will have to go back and just look at the comments as well, because I mean, I obviously want to be fair with whoever gets that number first. Someone saying Juice Man, someone saying Bistonio. The actual comment section itself only goes for like 15 minutes. And with all the spamming of the numbers, it doesn't let me scroll all the way up. So I need to just verify it. It's one or the other of those two people. So we're going to go back and kind of just verify. I mean, I'll kind of look at the timestamps and see. So yeah, it's either. So Juice Man is saying Beast got it, which is Bistonio. So once again, yeah, most likely it is him. I think it is. I'll just verify that. But I think that is the case. I mean, at least the chat consensus is kind of saying. And Jonathan, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Nikes, man. I'd kind of seen so many of the comments at once. So I believe it's him. We'll double check that. But so how does the process work? They can just message me, and then we can kind of transfer those details to maybe Maddie, something like that.
Yeah, I'll get it. I've already worked out with Maddie. We've talked back and forth about getting it all set up. So you will be set up, and the confirmation will come to your, we'll get your email and your name. I'll get it switched over on the back end, and then you're going to get a confirmation as well from Maddie. So, it's going to be there waiting for you. And this is the first, probably not the last. I've got a few more tickets to give away here. I just wanted to, I really enjoyed meeting up when we met up in in Vegas the first time, and we had some good conversations, stuff like that. And then just seeing you through the live streams and stuff, we were on there. We had that initial interview, so to speak. And I was like, hey, wouldn't it be fun, just to get on a little cross promotion, kind of from like hex therapy stuff to what you're doing. And I really appreciate everything you put out there with the clips and stuff like that, to make people more aware in the hex community. But it's always been a give back. I mean, and I think I learned some of that with what, Maddie talked about, and Maddie had been so helpful to me personally through the channel, and in brief conversations we had in Vegas about the whole, what I call he calls SWS, sudden wealth syndrome, which is, going to get, as I say, redonkulous here in the future, but at least it was a good intro, to kind of help me kind of conceptualize about, how to be more responsible with kind of what I've been giving. It's a gift.
Totally.
Happy birthday, Richard Hart, if you're watching this, belated birthday. But, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, in a sense, is the fact that, I have now the opportunity to give back to other people in life, whereas, through means and resources, whereas I didn't have that, in the past. So.
Oh, it's so true. I mean, like you mentioned, you wanted to kind of have that opportunity, but weren't able to do it in the past, but now are able to in the future. And I think about the same thing that we talked about too, off air, obviously, was that, there was X amount of dollars that, we had kind of collectively put into Hex that got us to where we are now. And then now to think about the opportunity that I had for the PulseChain sacrifice, it was significantly higher than I had ever put into Hex, and I see what that's done. And so like you mentioned, it really is something to consider now. Just as we talked about with the snapshot and those things, you should probably prepare for that now and trying to do as much research as you can, because that sudden wealth syndrome really does kick in.
Yeah, and like as you mentioned, what we talked about in the background and stuff like that, because the sacrifice that I made into PulseChain, I can honestly say in my 6 years of crypto, that's the largest investment into believing that blockchains are free speech. and I believe in free speech, so it's almost, as Richard kind of alluded to, it's almost like a political comment or statement in itself. But I mean, I've never deployed that much capital into a single, investment, ever. And to be able to do so and like not be the twiddling the thumbs guy, like, what did I just do? Oh my God, was that smart? I don't have to second guess myself, and I think I saw some of this kind of reiterated in another commentary on another stream by a gentleman, but it talks about looking back to, the track. I mean, if somebody was to go back and Vitalik Buterin was to come out and say, hey, I'm doing this next thing. And you go back and look at the track record of some of these developers, because there have been some that they go and they do something, they do it half-heartedly, and then they move on, and then it's the next big thing, and then they do it half-heartedly and they move on. And all I've seen in the case history of knowing Richard Hart from his self-help days and stuff like that is like, this guy's thorough, he's consistent. He's one note in a good way. Is the guy's on point, and and he sticks to his talking points. He talks his book, but he also walks his book. And anybody on the outside that maybe sees a snippet or an episode here or one thing and makes a precursory type judgment about everything that has been done is kind of short-sighted, because when you can look at the body of his work in total, you can see the development, the growth pattern towards what he's working at now. And I don't think I don't, as I like to say, I think it's a comic book thing. Don't know. I don't think we've yet to see Richard's final form.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. There's someone else that I was watching that had mentioned that same thing too, where Richard is constantly improving and updating, right? Toby's saying shout out to HEXDEK16. He embodies the true Hexagon spirit. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to you.
Thanks,
But
Toby.
no, it's true, right? Like someone had asked Richard, they had said like, hey man, why did you stop swearing? Obviously everyone remembers kind of that side of things. And he had mentioned that he wants to cater to a bigger audience and wants people of all ages and stuff like that to be able to listen to his information without being, turned off or not to be able to listen to it because of that amount of profanity and things like that. So as you mentioned, the final form type of deal with Richard, I think we're seeing kind of with the PulseChain itself, right? The 27 million that's gone to sends, things like that are kind of the start of what Richard's always wanted to do, which was like fix the money and then fix the world. So we're kind of seeing a little sliver of that.
Yeah. And so, in a sense, I feel like I'm just along for the ride, so to speak, but an enjoyable ride it's going to be. And by the way, let's see, right there. That is actually one of the hex shields. So I'm looking at it in the camera. I'm like, that kind of looks small over my shoulder, but that's actually the full size hexagon shield. And I put up against this picture in the background it's ginormous. I mean, it's huge, but that was one of the fun things. I think it was Motley Investor, and I'm trying to remember. I remembered the other gentleman's name last night. That was actually involved in the reproduction of that. But some of the hexagon things that guys are doing and stuff like that, it's like, hey, we're going to have this guy, Shields develop this hexagon shield and stuff like that. But we need people to like agree to back it so that, if it can be funded enough to be able to do it. But what a thing is heavy as anybody's business.
Yeah, it's a really high quality shield. I've got one too, and it's exciting. I mean, all of the payment itself included the shipping, and as you say, with how big it is and the size, like that thing must be kind of a nightmare in shipping to actually pay for. So it's exciting that was obviously included in the price as well.
Now, I'd be interested to see the first person on stream that gets one of those hex toys. I saw him post on Twitter the other day, and he had the Richard Hart one. I think it was limited production, like 369. I'm not a huge collector, so I'm not gonna. I don't accumulate a lot of stuff. I thought this was fun because I want to use it in future video productions and stuff like that.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm the same way. I would never be buying as much merchandise, participating in a community so much if it weren't something that I was truly passionate about and knew that it really was like something that was completely different than we've ever seen. And it's cool to think that this is really just the beginning. I mean, you were there for sub-penny hex, and it almost felt like such a barrier to ever, because the price kind of teases, right? It'll get close and then pull back and then kind of have these things as it starts to ratchet up closer. But once we broke through that barrier on New Year's, I think we hit like 2 pennies. But the point is now we're at like 40 something. And then what happens when we break that dollar barrier? We're going to see $40, $50, $60 and just so on and so forth.
I mean, some of the TA guys that are a lot more kind of knowledgeable than I am per se, and technical analysis. I used to do trading, but I think I mentioned this in the last stream. I stopped 2.5 years into crypto. I stopped trading, which, I was a fortunate person because I didn't lose. I won, but I'm one of the few percentage that won. But the waking up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning because a trading bell goes off on your computer and you're sitting there like, okay, trying to manage those margins. But like you mentioned, like the two, was it? Yeah, it was New Year's, right? We broke 2 cents. I mean, because being at 0.0000056 and like seeing 2 cents, I mean, you're kind of awestruck. But like my point that I'm trying to get at is some of these TA guys are looking at $20 to $22 level sometime towards the end of June next year, which is not that far away. And then,
Totally.
Then the mind's blown. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
Because you try to absorb that and you're just like, okay, my initial investment in Hex, and now you're saying, possibility exists that we could see Hex at a $22 level. And then wait, oh no, I'm sorry. There was the sacrifice. Oh wait, no, then I'm sorry. There's the doubling,
Yep.
And then it gets, as I always say, redonkulous. I mean, it just gets to the point where it's like, how much is enough? It's true. And it's not over. I mean, I don't think PLS, PulseChain network, is going to be the final product you see produced out of the brain of Richard Hart.
Exactly. No, it's so true. And as you mentioned, I mean, so yeah, we've also got the the fork of PancakeSwap, that liquidity provider token, like that yield farm type of token that people will get as well. So that's another token that Richard's done. But I definitely agree. I mean, obviously Richard doesn't promise expectations and future work of himself for the investors, because that would be a security. But what he kind of finds out is as he had the problem with the gas fees and for hex staking and things like that, he realized, okay, we need to make a fork of Ethereum. But then, like you mentioned, it's kind of like a whole ecosystem itself that he's building that now is rendering like the other crypto space like completely useless. It's almost like that like CoinMarketCap website or like ETHEX.com, I guess, is a better example. You don't need all of the pairs on Uniswap because a lot of those just aren't the best projects in the first place. All he has on ETHEX.com are like the stable coins and then Hex itself. So it kind of gives that opportunity not to get distracted and put your money where it probably shouldn't go and yield you the best,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and that's why it makes it hard, especially for people that I've worked with and onboarded, because they've never checked out any type of crypto other than hearing about Bitcoin, because it's the universal name for crypto in a sense on the commercial market scene or news media type stuff. But then they start delving into it and they're like, they look at, CoinMarketCap and stuff and they're like, oh my God, there's like well over 3,000 different tokens. Like, which one do I choose? And it's like, so it can be confusing. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse in a sense of, I'm glad there's such robust abundancy at this point, necessarily in the space. I mean, coming from the point of where, when I first got into crypto, but then there's a lot of noise or signal noise out there, that just can be very confusing and disillusioning, because anything, if you're new, you looks like a shiny piece of candy in the window. But it can be distracting. And that's how easy it is. I mean, there's a couple guys I've talked to that early on about Hex had never been into crypto, but they're like, oh, well, my son knows about crypto. I'll talk to him about this. And they came back to me like a week or two later, and they're like, yeah, I talked to my son about Hex, and he got me into Doge. Just like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, you do know it's a joke coin, right? It's a meme coin.
Right.
And unfortunately, 6-8 months later, I seen him get wrecked. But I guess we all have that learning curve in an aspect. Yeah. He did eventually get back into Hex, so now he's actually purchased and he's staked and stuff. But it's a hard lesson to learn, because I mean, especially when by the time you hear about it, by the time it goes TikTok viral type thing, or whatever it was, and then you take that nosedive down.
I think your connection might be a little bit laggy. Hope it's not on my end. Yeah, it looks like his connection might be a little bit laggy. Sometimes the streaming can kind of be pretty extensive. But yeah, similar to what HEXDEK had said, that a lot of this crypto space itself is just narratives, and they are just promise coins. Blue Bum mentions SafeMoon, which is a literal Ponzi scheme, a literal fork of. You still there, HEXDEK?
Yeah, I just got back. I was just saying, I'm like, I hit the video off. I started to lag. I'm like, well, let me go to a better place in the house here.
Oh yeah,
get a better signal.
Yeah, no, people don't realize, man. It's pretty extensive on the bandwidth. I mean, not only do you have your tabs that also require it, but the streaming itself is pretty extensive. So, but I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, we talked about the Hex Vegas conference, the giveaway. Thank you for doing that. I'll make sure that they get their information over to me, and that we'll get them the tickets and verify all of that. But what a cool opportunity, man. And it's cool to see that you might go to one of those meetups in Florida, maybe. But if not, then we'll at least see you in Vegas. And I think that'll be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think I was going to make any of the road trip meetups. But like I said, when I talked to Mike the other day, and another gentleman that I met out in Vegas, and he's like talking about getting something organized there. And I'm like, I'll fly out for a couple of days. I mean, I'll just fly in, be there for 2 days, and just fly out, and then we'll see each other in Vegas. But yeah, totally fun. I mean, we'll get everything worked out on the back end with the winners. Hopefully this won't be the last of the first. I have some more tickets to give away in the future. So as we get closer to the date and stuff like that, I look forward to doing it again. And it'll be fun to meet everybody, who wins, and then, get together in Vegas and kind of just celebrate, the success of Hex Token and the launch of PulseChain.
Totally. Well, cool, man. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to do like a couple other minutes before we end it. But I'll let you get going, man. And thanks again for coming on and doing that. And we'll definitely be in touch soon.
All right. Appreciate what you do, brother. Take care.
Hey, you too, man. Okay, peace. So yeah, once again, shout out to HEXDEK16. That was really cool. And same thing as well. I've never really done any giveaways, but that was just him that supplied it. I'll probably be buying a couple of tickets too, and maybe find a different style of giveaway as well, right? To kind of have multiple different forms of it. So Bustonio sounds great. I did want to cover a couple other things before I do end the stream here, similar to the actual meetups that Richard's done. He's talked a little bit about PulseChain that I think could be pretty useful. So give me just a second. Let me stop sharing the screen, and we'll share the audio. Shout out to Sensei Doze that created this clip, because it goes to show you what Richard envisions for PulseChain and what he sees happening. So we'll read this first, and then we'll get into the actual audio. So it says, and by the way, follow Reibu Sensei. So Pulse is going to exist soon. There's going to be Hex on the Pulse network, Hex on the ETH network. There's going to be a Pulse swap, a fork of Uniswap version 2. And then he says, my guess is that it'll be a very successful yield farming program. They'll be rewarded with Pulse swap tokens. And then we'll play the actual audio itself. Let me make sure everyone can see. Okay.
Let's skip Hex for a second. Pulse is going to exist soon. There's going to be Hex on the Pulse network. There's going to be Hex on the Ethereum network. There's going to be Pulse swap, fork of Uniswap v2, where people can bridge in their ERC20s, pair them with their ERC20s. My guess is it'll be a very successful yield farming program. They'll be rewarded with Pulse swap tokens for doing that. So I'll be posting charts of Pulse swap, Pulse, eHex, and Hex. And so someone might want to list all those PRC20s, because people are going to want to trade them, in my opinion. I don't have a crystal ball, can't predict the future. I did call that 10,000x though. That was pretty cool. Let's skip Hex for a second.
Okay, so yeah, that was the clip. Someone said turn it up. I can't. That was from the Crypto Sparbu live stream, and the audio was a little bit low because Richard was the one that had the mic a little bit further away from him. So that's kind of the point, right? There's going to be a Pulse swap. There's going to be a liquidity provider token. So that's going to incentivize people to provide liquidity. And one thing that Funding Jim had kind of mentioned is, now you're getting the other side of the liquidity pair itself. So say from EHEX to, or from HEX to EHEX type of deal. And so that could probably reduce some of the sell pressure and make parity happen a lot sooner than people think. So yeah, that was the clip that I'd want to cover there. Let me see if I do have another one, because they had a couple of clips that I thought were pretty interesting. And once again, shout out to them for doing the work, because it definitely does take time to do those. So we had Richard Hart's birthday the other day, yesterday. That was pretty cool. And we do have another clip that I'll play. Let me make sure everyone can see. Okay, so we'll play this other clip real quick here.
My question is, how many weeks in advance are you going to announce the snapshot?
I don't know, because there might be some edge game theory around people trying to game the system. And so it might be smart to have like a random time. I'm not really sure about that yet. I mean, I would prefer things be earlier. So I would probably lean towards a smaller warning window. So maybe give you a window and just make it real quick. But once we know things work, we go, Like, there's just some things you can just fix later. Like if we launch without bridges, fine. We launch without a Uniswap partner, fine. The world's largest airdrop and a functioning, fast, free network, that's enough. And then we can add that other stuff later. So I'm not willing to hang up the network for add-ons, really.
My question is...
Okay, cool. So yeah, that was the last clip, but it goes to show you what Richard's priorities are. So obviously there's some things that are taking longer than expected, and they don't all need to be ready for the launch of PulseChain itself. He can launch it, they can have the largest airdrop, and then they can kind of work from there. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Don't want to make this too long of a live stream. We'll let everybody go soon. So thank you for everyone that did tune in. Once again, this is bigger than Big Payday was for HEX. Big Payday, if you staked for 1 day, you would get 30% extra interest. And if you staked for the max length, I think you'd get maybe 100 to 110. But this is a guaranteed, this is a guaranteed copy, a guaranteed doubling of the coins themselves. And so if you're not preparing for it now, I suggest that you probably do, because as Richard mentioned, he doesn't want people to game the actual snapshot itself, kind of pumping and dumping it as well. He wants people to have an update and things like that, but he also mentions that not everything's going to be ready at the release. So just prepare for it now. I saw some people that were, really scared that it might have already happened, and then they were kind of getting frustrated. So don't be that person. Be the person that prepares now and that has your keys in your possession for when it happens, you'll get the doubling. So that's all I really have. Thank you, everyone. I'll be contacting the winners. Once again, that was the first time I've ever done a giveaway. Obviously, there's never going to be a perfect way of doing things. We're going to be giving away some more tickets in the future. I'm going to buy a couple extra tickets to get back, and then HEXDEK mentioned that he might have another ticket to give away as well. So we'll be doing that more in the future. We'll change up the style a little bit. Maybe ask the chat how they want us to do it right, and then we'll kind of go from there. But thank you for everyone that tuned in. Happy late birthday to Richard Hart. He turned 42. And, we're all on this journey together. It's a team win, as Nardo likes to say, and it feels good. So without further ado, here's the outro, and peace out.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Say hey. Say hey. the jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams.